If I could spend all of my time just making individual content for individual people, I totally would. But these kinds of comments evidence like a misunderstanding. I have hundreds of thousands of followers and I really make no money off of this platform. I think the most I've ever made from a post here is like $100. Content creators are not making stuff for individual people. We're either telling our own stories, telling stories of people we know, or telling stories that are relevant to the audiences that we work with. That necessarily means that sometimes you're not going to be personally reflected in my content. I think especially in this context where somebody is saying, well, I don't have the flexibility in order to make a different plan for my children if they want to drop out of camp. There's a real financial assumption that you're making about me and my family. I'm not going to affirm or deny those assumptions because that's my personal information, but I will say I'm probably more like you than you realize. We abso-freaking-lutely had to scramble in order to deal with our week last week. And I was feeling really grateful that I've leaned hard enough into building local community that I had a lot of people I could call on. I'm sorry that all of my content does not speak to you, and I'm even more sorry that I don't have the opportunity to make individual content for each of you. That does mean that sometimes you're going to watch my stuff and you're going to have to say either that doesn't apply to me or I'm going to have to adjust that for me. If you're like, I want her to give me really particular to me feedback and support, there is a place I do that. It's inside my course. Inside of that course, I will brainstorm with you. I will teach you uber specific tools for your particular child. I will text with you when shit goes awry. But if I did that with hundreds of thousands of followers, I would never see my children. So this is general information. If you need to adjust it for your particular situation, I invite you to do that emotional labor for yourself. These kinds of comments make creators like me tired. It's like, oh my God, I just put so much work into whatever reels I've made today. And sometimes I do spend hours making them. And then it's like, well, it's not particular to me. It just doesn't feel great, friends. I'm not asking you to agree with me all the time or even to love all of my content. I'm just asking you to take on some of the emotional labor of adjusting it to you and your family. And yes, it's labor and I recognize it as such. You got me?